Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Hello and welcome back to another bullet journal video. April and spring will be here soon and it is time to set up our bullet journals ready for the upcoming month, so let's just get right into it. In my April setup, I combined two theme ideas that I had when I started planning for this. I've wanted to do a Polaroid picture theme for a few months now, but I haven't really been able to decide what to draw into those Polaroid frames. But then I saw this super cute painted landscape Polaroids, I don't know what to call them, and I've been thinking of doing a landscape theme as well in the future. So long story short, I took some inspiration from the pictures that I found and that's how I came up with this theme. Starting with the cover page, I'm drawing 3 overlapping Polaroids with different scenes. I used an actual Polaroid from my Instax Polaroid camera to draw the outlines and then sketch the pictures. For my colors this month, I chose this olive green color, a couple of light sand colors and this one a bit darker brown, and I also added some light yellow to the mix. And I guess because of my choice of colors, I drew a lot of deserts, sand and even a cactus. By the way, I just realized that I've never done a full cactus theme during my 3 years of bullet journaling. I know a lot of people have already done a cactus theme, but I really love seeing all the different styles people do, and I don't know, maybe I should try to do it in my own style. I didn't want to make the Polaroid frames too dark, so instead of doing a solid outline, I drew a dashed line with a really thin fine liner, and I also went over it with my light grey Tombow brush pen to add some depth. And I feel like drawing the Polaroids this way really made the whole page lighter. Finally, I added the header, some grid washi tape, stickers and some grid paper from a notepad I found. Moving on to my monthly calendar page. I started this page from the header where I wrote April in this multicolor bubble letter font. I first wrote all of the letters and then outlined each of them with the same like dashed lines as the Polaroids on the cover page. I created a really basic calendar grid but tried to make it a bit different by using a Crayola Supertips marker instead of the black fine liner that I always use. It annoys me a bit that the calendar isn't fully centered vertically and it's just a bit too close to the header, but I guess there's nothing I can do about it now. Before moving on to my April trackers, I wanted to take some time to talk about today's sponsor, Skillshare. If you haven't heard of Skillshare before, they are an online learning community with thousands of classes about so many different things like drawing, journaling, productivity, anything really. I recently took this digital hand lettering class by Gia Graham and I learned so many things about digital art and also things that I can use in my bullet journal. So whether you'd like to learn some digital hand lettering or use your spare time more meaningfully, Skillshare has classes for everyone. For the first 1,000 people that use the link in my description, Skillshare is now offering a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership, and after the trial, membership is only around $10 a month. Thank you again Skillshare for supporting my channel, and now let's continue to my April goal spread. In the past setups, I've created a productivity tracker where I list some productive things that I'd like to achieve during the month, and as I mentioned in my March video, my productivity trackers have become more like a monthly goals, so this time I really decided to call these April goals. So I drew this light grey grid that is supposed to be one of those grids that you can put above your desk and maybe hang some notes or cute photos in. And then I created these Polaroid frames, and I had the cutest idea that every time I achieve a goal from my list under this grid, I'll draw a little scene to one of those Polaroids and use washi tape to stick it to this page. I thought this was such a fun idea, and I'd love to know if you have done something like this in your journal. I'm hoping to achieve all my goals and fill this grid with cute mini Polaroids. To the next page, I'm doing my basic habit trackers with the individual mini calendars. This month I didn't decorate my pages that much. At least I didn't draw the Polaroids on every single spread, and it might be because I felt like the colors, different fonts, washi tapes and other scrapbooky things were quite enough already. Moving on to my productivity tracker. And yes, I know that I just said that my productivity tracker is called April Goals this time, but also last month I talked about how I felt like I didn't need a mood tracker anymore, but instead I could use the mood tracker idea in my productivity tracker. I know it sounds so complicated, or maybe I'm just really bad at explaining this, but really I just changed a couple of headers. So for each day in April I drew a little Polaroid, and every day I'll be coloring the Polaroid depending on my productivity level. I've seen a lot of mood trackers like this, so this is definitely not my original idea, but still I felt like this turned out pretty cute. The next tracker that I'm doing is my sleep log. I don't know what happened in the filming, but this month I forgot to press the record button so many times, and only after I had created the header already, I realized that my camera wasn't filming. So if you were wondering, that's why there are some parts missing. The sleep log isn't really anything special. I made this basic layout with the time on top and all the days on the left side. This month I'm bringing back my monthly memories spread. I did these kinds of spreads last spring, but at some point I just realized that I wasn't really filling them in anymore, so I stopped including them in my setups. But now I felt like I'd like to give it another try, so instead of my weekly diary I created this spread. So I basically drew this one big calendar, and for each day I'll draw something that happened that day, or maybe write down a word or two, or if nothing special happens, I'll fill the box with some washi tape or something like that. I'll be sharing this spread on my Instagram account at Papery Thoughts if you're interested to see how I fill in these pages. There I've also been sharing pictures of my rolling weeklies and how they turned out, since I haven't included my weekly spreads in these setups anymore. This next page is my expense tracker, and there's nothing really new here, so let's just jump right into the final page in this setup, which is my spring countdown. So in this spring countdown, I'll write down some definite signs of spring, like seeing the first butterfly or first wildflowers. I decorated this page with some Polaroid pictures and then added pieces of the grid paper that I've been using for the actual things on my lists. If you happen to have any suggestions what I should put on this list, you can leave a comment under this video. This fun spring countdown page finishes off my colorful April setup, and here you can see the final flip through. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!